everyone, and welcome to the Vintage Tractor and Machinery channel. Join me as we travel to the delightful farming village of Lancefield, just 71 kilometres northwest of Melbourne, which is hosting the 2011 Lancefield Vintage Tractor. Weather is windy with a threat of some rain during the afternoon, so sit back and enjoy the Vintage Tractor Pull highlights from Lancefield. In the gutsy little International. Arlo is pulling in the under 20 horsepower class and always has a good success at these vintage tractor pulls. At the moment, Arlo Dickens is looking fairly strong in that little International, coming up to about half track distance now, and just cruising quite nicely. Arlo has got things well and truly under control, just coming up towards that little bit of broken ground here at Lancefield. It's causing a little bit of a problem. Just over the front wheels go over the broken bit of ground here at Lancefield, just to see how the sled goes. And struggling now. It's a little bit of wheel spin from the little International, but it looks like it's got that sled over the rough bit and could go on towards a good full pull from Arlo Dickens. It's pulling very strongly too, and looks like it's going to be a good strong full pull from the boy from Woodend, Arlo Dickens, in that little International, and he's doing a great job as up comes the flag. Good pull from Arlo Dickens. Next up is Robbie Green in that little case. A very, very old tractor, but still running quite nicely, and Robbie's been tinkering with that particular tractor. He's got it purring out quite nicely, probably quarter track distance at the moment, and the little cases are just motoring along quite nicely. I think Robbie's quite happy with the progress of the little cases. It's coming up towards that broken bit of ground that we saw Arlo Dickens just previously pull over, and Robbie just checking around. It's coming up to that difficult part of the track here at Lancefield. See what the little case can do. Starting to struggle now over the rough bits. A little bit of wheel spin on it. I think that's it for the case of Robbie Green. The H model Bulldog is the next tractor away, and that's driven by Graham Wilkie. Nicely turned out tractor from Graham. You can see the smoke pouring from the exhaust of the H model Bulldog. It's travelling right to left as the wind's blowing right to left if you'll screen quite strongly at the moment. Graham's probably covered about quarter track distance now. This is Graham's pulling in the under 20 horsepower class here, and probably going reasonably well. About quarter track distance now, coming up towards that rough bit, so we'll see by Graham Wilkins' H model Bulldog next to get over that broken part of the track here at Lancefield. Just the front wheels just about reaching it now. Starting to work quite hard, as you can see the smoke building from the exhaust pipe of this H model Bulldog. And it's looking pretty strong too. It's just starting to struggle now, and that's it for Graham Wilkie in the H model Bulldog. Rod Gervin in another H model Bulldog is on screen at the moment. Rob, another nicely turned out tractor, and Rod Gervin just motoring along quite nicely at the moment. Wind's still blowing here at Lancefield, and see if Rod can try and match Graham Wilkie's pull previous. And at the moment the H model Bulldog doing a reasonably good job. Early days yet for Rod Gervin in the Bulldog, but probably quarter track distance as he's coming up towards that rough bit. In a moment you'll see it come into screen, which has been causing some problems for these under 20 horsepower tractors. And as we see now, starting to put the power on is Rod Gervin in the H model Bulldog, as he knows that this rough part of the track here has been catching out a couple of the previous tractors. The tractor, the H model's over it now. Whether Rod Gervin can pull that sled over this rough part, we'll have to wait and see. It's looking strong. No, it's starting to wheel spin, and that's it for Rod Gervin. Here comes Wild Man Nick Smith from the John Deere. Just coming up to about quarter track distance. The John Deere looking quite nice. Good strong tractor straight out of the market garden. It looks like just coming over the rough part here at Lancefield. We'll see what the John Deere with Wild Man Nick Smith from Werribee can do. And it's looking strong at the moment. Just about pulling that sled over the rough bit. So the tractor's over. Sled's over. It looks like that Nick Smith's going to have himself a good strong pull there. If not a full pull, it's going to be a full pull from Nick Smith on the John Deere, the boy from Werribee. Terry Mickelson is next tractor away. Terry driving the Fordson, the E27N, the petrol Kero model. Terry is in the under 25 horsepower class, just travelled about half track distance now. Looking reasonably comfortable at the moment. The tractor just bouncing around a little bit on those rear tyres. Coming up to the rough bit now, so the E27M, the petrol Kero, struggling a little bit. Wheel spin, that's all for Terry Mickelson. Graham Wilkie's had a very busy weekend. Here we see him in the International on the screen at the moment. Just starting, he's pulling a delightful little tractor. Graham running in the under 25 horsepower class here at Lancefield. And at the moment, no big dramas for Graham, just cruising on quite nicely. Nice little compact tractor is this International. We'll see what it can do when it gets to the bit of a rough ground here at Lancefield. Just coming up now on the International. So go steady as she goes, probably pull the sled about, or the weight about halfway up the sled now. Just coming to the rough bit now where they see the International. How will it handle this rough track? It's got the tractors come over the rough bit, whether it can drag that sled over the bumpy bits or not. We see it starting to struggle now. Front wheels up, wheel spin that. Magnificent are the words to describe this next tractor in the under 25 horsepower class. It's a beautiful looking Fordson, an E27N, a petrol Kero configuration, and that's driven by Dennis Burkett. So Dennis has got a beautifully turned out tractor, and at the moment lights ablaze, travelling quite nicely. Good tread on those rear tyres as he's coming up towards that little bit of a bumpy track spot on this track that's been catching out a lot of tractors this afternoon. It's just about to go over it now, so the tractor is over it, and the tractor is looking very strong at this stage as the tractor has cleared the rough stuff here at Lancefield, just waiting to see if it can pull that sled across the roughed up part of the track, and it looks like it has. So this could be a very good pull from Dennis in that fabulous looking E27 at the Fordson Major, and looks like it's going on to be a full pull, so he could take out this 25 horsepower class, and it's a very, very good pull as he gets the flag from Dennis Burkett in that very good Fordson. Looking for a good pull is Shane Terry in the delightfully turned out International. Shane now, as the rain starts to fall here at Lancefield, which should make things a little bit more difficult as the rain starts to come down, and Shane in the McCormick International just starting to get a little bit of wheel spin there. Will he try and get a full pull in? The weather might be against him, but it's not too bad an effort from Shane Terry. Wheel spin now in the International, and that's it for Shane. On screen is Andrew Christo in that beautifully turned out John Deere crawler. Not the fastest tractor here today at Lancefield. Certainly a very strong little tractor for its size, and doing a great job just motoring along nice and easy. Really not much pressure on that little John Deere. Andrew Christo just sitting back there, enjoying it all, relaxing. He knows he's got a strong little tractor under him at the moment. Probably travelled about half track distance, and the little John Deere still doing a great job just motoring along, probably a little bit under walking pace. Not the fastest, as I said before, but certainly is a very, very capable, strong little tractor, and looks like it could be going on for a very, very good pull. I think Andrew Christo will be pretty happy for this one. It's continuing on, and looks like, I reckon this is going to be a full pull from Andrew in the John Deere. Here comes the Fordson Guru, and that's Bill Taylor from Kyneton in the Fordson crawler, the E27N, the petrol Kero crawler. And Bill once again working on those levers. He really works those levers very hard and continuously on this little Fordson crawler, and does a very, very good job. And nice steady pace too from Bill, not too quick, not too slow. He's just got the right rev range for this Fordson crawler, and looking pretty strong too. Over the difficult part of the journey here at Lancefield, still working those levers in the E27 and the crawler is Bill Taylor from Kyneton, and looks like Bill might be going through for a pretty good pull. Could it be a full pull from Billy Taylor in that Fordson crawler? It looks like it's going to be a pretty good pull as he's still continuing on, and looks like Bill's just about to pull that right out of the track as he's going up, still continuing, and looks like the Kyneton boy Billy Taylor has gone through for a full pull from Bill Taylor of Kyneton. Our next crawler on screen is Scotty Huff in the International, and not sitting around either is Scott Huff in this International, and the flagman's really got a scurry to actually keep up with the International. It's a V8 powered International, and it's really rocketing along the Lancefield layout, and just twitching around, really motoring quite strongly as the oh, something's happened. It's just stopped dead. So it was going great guns, and all of a sudden it just run out of power, and unfortunately that's it for the International Crawler. Oh dear. Here we have David Brown in the Bulldog, blowing plenty of smoke, getting up towards the end of his run now, and that's it for David Brown in his Bulldog. Here comes Terry Mickelson now on his Perkins P6 Fords and E27M diesel, blowing plenty of smoke, getting up towards a difficult part of the circuit here. What can the E27 do? It's struggling now, pumping out heaps of smoke. Is at the end for Terry. He's just trying to make a little bit more ground, willing that tractor on, but that's it for Terry Nicholson in the E27N. Alan Brown is next tractor away. Alan driving a Fordson E27N. Perkins P6, he's taken it easy, quarter track distance. He's looking pretty smooth and confident at the moment in this Fordson is Alan Brown. Starting to put the power into the Fordson now, really starting to work that power now as he goes over the rough section here at Lancefield, and the tractor's over, the sled's just about to be dragged over, starting to struggle now, but looks like he's over the worst of it, puts a bit more power into it, and looks like this is going to be a full pull from Alan Brown in that Fordson. Next up is Rod McClure in the Australian-built Chamberlain. Rod's doing a reasonably good job, pulling quite well, getting to about half track distance. Starting to struggle a little bit now, the Chamberlain of McClure. It's probably going back, won't be quite a full pull, be pretty close though. It's starting to struggle now, the Chamberlain of Rod McClure. Little bit of wheel spin, I think that's it. We can pull a little bit more out of it, but I think that's about it for Rod McClure in the Chamberlain. David Brown is next in another Australian-built Chamberlain. Travelling about quarter track distance at the moment. Be trying to see if he can try and make inroads onto Rod McClure's Chamberlain previous. As we see coming to about half track distance now, where Rod McClure struggled before. We'll see what David Brown can do in his Chamberlain. About the same position now, pulling reasonably steady, starting to struggle a little bit now. As he's coming up about three-quarter track distance, and it's looking strong, but really starting to bite in now over a bit of a bump in the track, which has slowed up a couple of previous tractors. Might be too bad a pull from David Brown in this particular Chamberlain. A little bit of wheel spin there. He's still struggling, wheel spin, and that's it for the Chamberlain of David Brown. Robbie Green has dusted out the cobwebs of his Fordson P6, the Perkins P6, and he's having a bit of a run here today at Lancefield. Just hanging onto the hat a little bit, walking post only for Robbie in this particular tractor, the E27N, the P6. Probably about quarter track distance now, starting to struggle a little bit now, blowing a little bit of smoke. Whether Rob can try and catch these tractors previous, we'll have to wait and see. Still moving quite steadily there, but starting to struggle now. A bit of wheel spin, I think that might be it. Really starting to blow smoke now. The Fordson is really struggling, but it's still moving, and that's what Robbie wants, blowing smoke. A little bit of wheel spin once ago, but to his credit, Robbie Green's got this P6 still motoring, probably about three-quarter, half-track distance. A lot of smoke from the P6, a lot of bit of wheel spin too, but it's still motoring. I thought it would have stopped long before this, but to Robbie Green's credit, he's still manhandling this Fordson P6, the E27N, really starting to shudder now, wheel spin, and I think that might be just about it for Robbie Green in that E27N, the P6 Fordson. On track at the moment is the Fordson of Andrew Fraser, the Fordson Major of Andrew Fraser. Doing a steady job at the moment. It's good rudder on the rear of this Fordson Major, so might help so it gets a little bit of grip, a little bit damp still here at Lancefield on the track, on the surface, a little bit dampish. But struggling now, the Fordson over the first little hump there, so the tractor's over the hump, so this might be a reasonably good pull from Andrew Fraser. A little bit of wheel spin now on that Fordson Major, and I think that's as far as it'll go in the Fordson Major. Here comes Laurie Adams in the Chamberlain 9G. He's got the cabin configuration on and looking pretty strong too. As Laurie really got that 9G motoring as he's travelled about nearly half track distance and doesn't seem to be troubled that much. Coming up onto the rough part of the section, which has been troubling a lot of tractors, slowing up a little bit now on the 9G. So Laurie Adams now is starting to struggle, and that's it for the Chamberlain of Laurie Adams. The Circus Tractor is on track at the moment, and that's driven by Graham Wilkie. Once upon a time in its history, it used to pull a circus all around the countryside, but at the moment It's in the hands of Graham Wilkie at the Lancefield Tractor Pull, and we can see what sort of a distance Graham can pull in this particular tractor. Probably about 3/4 track distance. Starting to struggle now. Will he make it? It's looking reasonably comfortable. Now it's starting to struggle. Just Graham twitching the steering wheel, trying to get a bit more traction on those rear tyres. As it looks like a little bit of wheel spin there. The front sort of lifts up a little bit, but it's still going. And it's not too bad an effort from Graham Wilkie in this particular Chamberlain tractor. It's starting to bite in now, but it's still pulling. It could be go through for a pull. And I think Graham Wilkie is going to have a really good run in this Chamberlain, and it's going to go through for a full pull for the Chamberlain of Graham Wilkie. Here we have Bill Buse in that magnificent looking Chamberlain. Bill from Bacchus Marsh, and Bill's probably about 3/4 track distance, coming up onto the rough section now, whether Bill can get that Chamberlain over the rough bit. The Chamberlain's over it, it's struggling now, wheel spin, and that's it for Billy Buse. Graham Wilkie in the Chamberlain Super 70. We'll see what Graham can do in this particular tractor. Really got a decent old head of steam as Graham really motoring down that Lancefield layout at the moment. Big wide wheels on the back of this tractor, and the Graham's really trying to go for a full pull. Gets onto the rough bit here at Lancefield, starting to struggle now in the Chamberlain, and that's it for Graham Wilkie in the Chamberlain. Next up we have Len Gervin in the Super 70, the Chamberlain Super 70 with the louver windows in the cab. Len's about 1/4 track distance now, and not probably going as quick as Graham Wilkie did previous, but still a good steady run from Lenny Gervin. Starting to put the power on now as Len knows he's coming up to that bit of a tricky part here at Lancefield, whether he can get the Chamberlain over to pull that sled across this rough ground here at Lancefield. As the tractor now just about goes over the rough stuff, whether he can pull the sled or not, we'll have to wait and see as it starts to struggle. Front wheels up, and that's it for Len Gervin in the Chamberlain Super 70. On screen is a fabulous looking John Deere of Bob Goulden, just coming up about 1/4 track distance now. Big nice wide tyres on that rear of that tractor should give it plenty of grip as it's just about coming up to that very tricky part here at Lancefield. Gets the tractor over, bumps over it. Well, he can get the sled up. No, he can. Front wheels in the air. And looks like Goulden's got the sled over the rough part here at Lancefield. And this is going to probably go through to be a full pull from Bob Goulden in that fabulous looking imported John Deere. Great pull from Bob Goulden on the John Deere. That was a great pull from Bob. One coming up next will be Graham Bird in that fantastic, a very interesting looking Chamberlain, dual wheels on the back, a former Broadacre tractor, now pulling. The organisers here at Lancefield have really got that sled loaded up with ballast, so it's going to be a tough pull from Graham Bird in this big, fabulous looking, interesting Chamberlain. Graham Bird now is about probably 1/4 track distance, coming up towards that very rough part here at Lancefield. See what the big Chamberlain, the dual wheel Chamberlain can do. He's on the rough stuff now, starting to struggle a little bit now. We can see those rear tyres starting to bite in, but Graham could be over it. The sled is not. No, he's not. He's going to get hung up, and that's where it ends for Graham Bird in the Chamberlain. Let's see what Rod Skidmore can do in this fabulous Ford Super 6, the Fordson Major, half track distance now. And Rod's really got a head of steam. It's really percolating, coming up towards that rough part of the circuit. Whether Rod can get the Super 6 over the broken track here. He's on it now. The tractor starts to really bite in. He's putting the power into it. It's starting to slow. He's looking at it. Rod's trying to will this tractor on 3/4 track distance. I think he's not going to make it. No, he's got it hung up right there. All eyes are on Robbie Green in his Chamberlain Super 90. Robbie's just got to take a full pull and he'll take out the overall honours in his particular class, the open class here at Lancefield. Just taking it steady now, just psyching himself up. Now he's starting to thread the power on, and now he's starting to get serious. He's about half track distance as Robbie Green in the Super 90 comes up to that very rough part of the track here at Lancefield. He looks like it could be over it. Tractor's over it, sled is over it. Yep, the sled just over it. He knows he's got a full pull. He knows he's got outright honours here at Lancefield, and it's a good full pull from Robbie Green as he goes through to take out his class win. We hope you enjoyed the highlights from the Vintage Tractor Pull. I'm Peter Shea, so until next time, it's goodbye from Lancefield.